A trash employee has a trash husband too, huh? How about this?
When Lisa pointed at what she was talking about, I couldn't believe my eyes. Where my and Amy's chairs were supposed to be, there were trash cans instead. This is.
Well, trash belongs in trash cans, right?
I noticed my hands were shaking with anger. Why do I have to put up with this kind of treatment? All right, you're demoted to the garbage disposal unit.
What?
Lisa frowned at my words.
What kind of joke is that? You, an outsider, don't have the authority to demote me.
Ben, it's okay. Let's just leave.
If Amy hadn't said that, I might have punched Lisa right then and there. I glared at Lisa one last time and left the venue of the party. My name is Ben Taylor, and I'm a 42-year-old real estate company owner. Even though I say I'm the owner, the company was passed down to me by my wife Amy's father. Amy's family is a well-known landowner around here. They own vast amounts of land and run several apartment buildings and parking lots. I met Amy back in high school. We were both captains of the basketball teams. When we started dating and a few years had passed, I went to meet Amy's parents. Their mansion looked like something straight out of a TV show. During that visit, Amy's father asked me to take over the family business if I married her. In that moment, my future job was decided, even though I hadn't started job hunting yet. I had some reservations about becoming an adopted son, but if I could marry Amy, it was a small price to pay. So I became part of the Taylor family and started working at my father-in-law's company. Amy, however, works for a completely different company. That's because Amy joined a professional basketball team. Even though we were both team captains, I was nowhere near Amy's talent. Amy got into college on a sports scholarship and continued to play basketball for a big company's team. She used to say how happy she was to continue playing the sport she loved, but recently her expression has been gloomy. She sighs a lot when she comes home. Is it that woman manager again?
Yeah.
When I asked, Amy responded, looking exhausted. Her company's longtime manager recently retired and was replaced by a woman named Lisa Scott. Lisa is particularly harsh on Amy, making her life miserable.
I leave work early for basketball practice, right? Lisa seems to have a big problem with that.
Everybody at the company understands that Amy prioritizes her basketball activities. However, no matter what anyone says, Lisa just won't accept it.
I told them I can't attend this weekend's company party because I have a game, but Lisa insisted I come. Can you make it, Ben?
I can, but even though Amy is 40 and doesn't play in games anymore, she participates in practice daily as a coach and travels with the team. The company understands that Amy's basketball activities take precedence, but Lisa just won't acknowledge it. I know it's not my place to interfere with Amy's work issues, but I can't help wanting to say something. With these thoughts in mind, I accompanied Amy to the company party. The party was held in a large hotel ballroom. Amy looked stunning, dressed up and different from usual, making my heart skip a beat. As soon as we entered the venue, someone approached us.
Oh, you actually came. That dress looks so cheap and shabby.
Even without Amy saying anything, I knew this had to be Lisa. Amy frowned and gave a slight nod without saying anything. I couldn't bring myself to bow and instead glared at Lisa. Seeing this, Lisa clicked her tongue.
Trash employees have trash husbands too, huh? How about this?
She pointed at something as she said this. When I looked at what Lisa was pointing at, I couldn't believe my eyes. Where my and Amy's chairs were supposed to be, there were trash cans instead. What the hell is this?
Well, trash belongs in trash cans, right? This woman doesn't do any work and leaves early every day. Yet, the men pamper her and say it's fine. She's probably doing something dirty behind the scenes to get their favor, isn't she?
I was stunned by Lisa's words. She should know that Amy is part of a professional basketball team. Even so, this kind of remark was beyond absurd.
A woman who isn't raising children has no rights. You two don't have kids, right? Did you think people with no human value could sit on regular chairs?
I noticed my hand shaking with anger. Why do we have to put up with such cruel remarks? When I glanced at Amy beside me, she looked down, pained. It's true that we don't have children. We even went through fertility treatments, but it wasn't meant to be. The reason was Amy's congenital condition. I wanted kids too, but having Amy was enough for me. Still, I knew Amy felt some responsibility for not being able to have children. That's why I couldn't forgive Lisa for what she said. All right, you're demoted to the garbage disposal unit.
What?
Lisa frowned at my words.
What are you talking about? Demotion?
Yes, demotion. Someone like you belongs in the garbage disposal unit. At that moment, my brain was boiling over, and I honestly didn't know what I was saying. I'm usually a laid-back person who doesn't call people trash. But at that moment, I truly believed the woman in front of me was trash.
What kind of nonsense is this? As an outsider, you don't have the authority to demote me. Besides, I'm excellent at my job and have been recognized by the headquarters. If anyone should be demoted, it's that slacker trash woman.
How could she say such awful things in front of her husband?
Ben, it's okay. Let's just leave.
If Amy hadn't said this, I might have punched Lisa right then and there. That's how furious I was.
Aren't you going to sit in this special chair? I prepared it just for you.
I clenched my fist, ready to hit her, but Amy took my hand and said,
Let's go.
I glared at Lisa one last time and left the party venue. As soon as we left the venue, I called someone. I arranged to meet them that night and then spoke to Amy. All right, let's go get lunch. Amy looked visibly downcast, clearly affected by Lisa's words. Even though she had been forced to attend the party, she had been somewhat looking forward to the chance to dress up. But after being spoken to so horribly in front of other employees and me, it's no wonder she felt down. Let's go to that French restaurant you've been wanting to try.
But isn't that place booked for the next 2 years?
Amy's face, which had been so gloomy, brightened a little. Growing up in a wealthy family, Amy has a discerning palate. She can tell the difference between good and bad food. That French restaurant is her favorite. We hadn't been able to go there for the past few years because the reservation wait list was 2 years long, and it was nearly impossible to get through on the phone. I got a reservation. Let's go now. You're all dressed up, so let's show you off a bit. Saying this, I hailed a taxi. Still bewildered, Amy let me guide her into the taxi, and we headed to the French restaurant. It was the first time in years that we had dinner at a high-end restaurant, and Amy seemed to perk up a bit. Still, her expression occasionally darkened, likely because she was dreading work on Monday. She would have to face Lisa again, like it or not. It would be easy to suggest she quit her job. Since we don't have children, my income alone is enough for us to live on. However, Amy wants to continue playing basketball as long as her body allows, and I wholeheartedly support her. On Monday, I spoke to Amy, who was quieter than usual. I'll go with you today.
Go where? To the office?
Yeah, I thought I'd drop by and say hi. It's not too busy at the real estate office today. Seeing me start to get ready, Amy tilted her head in puzzlement.
Who are you saying hi to?
I intentionally ignored her question. When we arrived at Amy's office, I could sense various emotions from the employees who saw me. Those who recognized me had different reactions from those who didn't.
Oh, why are you two coming in together? Can't she come in by herself like a child? Oh, wait, you don't have kids, so are you playing house?
Amy lowered her head at Lisa's words. How can she say such cruel things so casually? What are you doing here anyway?
What did you say?
Lisa narrowed her eyes suspiciously at my retort.
What do you mean?
I told you at the party, trash belongs in the garbage disposal. I'm asking why trash is here.
What?
Lisa's face turned red with anger as she stepped closer, the strong smell of her perfume making me wince.
I have no idea what you're talking about. That demotion talk at the party was nonsense, and I'm sick of your jokes. The trash here is you two.
Ignoring Lisa's rant, I took Amy's hand and walked away. Talking to this woman was a waste of time. Realizing just how much I disliked her, I headed to a certain place. The next day, while I was working at my company, my secretary approached me with a troubled expression.
Ben, a woman named Lisa is on the phone. She seems really angry. Should I tell her you're not available?
As soon as she mentioned an angry Lisa, I knew it was her. Dreading another conversation with Lisa, I reluctantly answered the phone. Hello, this is Ben.
What did you do?
Her shrill voice made me wince as soon as I answered. Her voice was headache-inducing. Unlike Amy's voice, which always made me happy and warm inside, this was unbearable. What do you mean?
Don't play dumb. I came into work today and was told I was being transferred to a remote branch labeled as the company's garbage. What did you do?
I couldn't help but laugh at Lisa's desperate scream. Now you know who the real trash is.
What are you saying?
Sensing her fear as I laughed, I continued without hesitation. Ignoring her, I continued laughing. The most important person to me is my wife, Amy. I will never forgive you for hurting her. I couldn't stand the thought of you being in the same department as her while she continues to work at the company. So I asked Ryan to transfer you. I had an emergency board meeting held yesterday. I attended and simply stated my opinion about your transfer.
An emergency board meeting? Why would you, just a family member of a regular employee, be able to attend a board meeting?
Lisa seemed completely confused. Of course, I am not just any regular employee's family member. But I had no intention of explaining that to Lisa in detail. I found it simply too bothersome.
Tell Ryan to cancel my transfer. There's no way I can go to a remote branch in the mountains.
Why don't you discuss that with your president, Ryan, yourself? I suggested your transfer because I think you're trash. If you want to argue about it, talk to Ryan, not me. Even if you apologized for 24 hours straight, I wouldn't forgive you. I firmly stated this and hung up the phone. Just talking to her made me feel sick to my stomach with anger. Thinking that making someone this angry is a talent in itself, I returned to my work. When I got home after work that day, Amy was already there. She usually has basketball practice until late, so I usually come home first. I'm home, you're back early.
Yeah, I had a lot that happened today.
Amy's expression immediately told me that something was wrong. Was it Lisa? When I asked, Amy nodded slightly with a troubled look.
She was making a fuss about the transfer all morning and followed me around all day. She even came to practice and caused a scene, so I came home early. It was disrupting everyone's practice.
Oh no. I was horrified to realize how serious the situation had become. What did she hope to achieve by following Amy around all day? As I was about to call the president to ask for help, the doorbell rang. At the same time, there was a loud banging on the door. I immediately realized that Lisa had come to our house. I stood in front of Amy, who was pale with fear, and connected the intercom camera to the outside.
Hey, trash couple. Open this door right now.
Even without the camera, I could hear Lisa's loud yelling, and I sighed. Knowing it would disturb the neighbors, I nervously opened the door. There she was, red-faced and furious. "What are you doing here at this hour?" I was genuinely fed up. But Lisa, ignoring my sarcasm, walked into the house without hesitation.
My president told me to go to the transfer office from tomorrow. I just became the department head. So why do I have to go to the garbage office deep in the mountains? That's where the troublemaker employees who cause problems at the company are sent.
Do you really not understand why you're being transferred? If so, you're an idiot. I wish she could understand my frustration, being confronted by someone I deeply disliked right when I was about to have dinner. I was so irritated that I felt like screaming.
What do you mean? What did I do?
She shouted and grabbed my collar.
Enough.
At that moment, Ryan Clark, the president, stepped between us with a loud voice. Ryan was breathing heavily and sweat was pouring down his face. Seeing him suddenly appear, I guessed he had run all the way from the nearest station.
Ryan, why are you here?
That's what I should be asking. What are you doing at Ben's house at this hour?
Ryan glared at the confused Lisa, almost in tears. Breathing heavily, he grabbed Lisa and raised his voice, looking desperate.
I just can't accept this transfer. I heard this couple was behind it, so I came to talk to them.
How could you act so recklessly? Do you have any idea who Ben is?
Lisa blinked in surprise at Ryan's desperate plea.
Who? He's just the husband of a lazy employee, right? Yet he interfered with my transfer, acting all high and mighty.
Lisa's anger flared up again as she pointed at me and shouted. Ryan's face turned pale at the sight.
This man is a major shareholder of our company.
Really?
Lisa frowned at Ryan's words.
What do you mean? He's just the husband of the slacker, isn't he?
Stop it.
By now, Lisa's comments were beyond reckless. Given Ryan's presence here, she should realize the gravity of the situation.
Our major shareholders are all wealthy individuals, right? There's no way someone living in such a small house could be a major shareholder of our company. It must be someone with the same name. It can't be this couple.
True, our house isn't particularly large. It's a bit smaller than the average single-family home.
A big house doesn't guarantee happiness.
Amy murmured, looking somewhat sad.
My family home was a mansion big enough to be a tourist attraction. My dad was a major landowner, and my mom was a descendant of a powerful business family. We've never struggled financially.
Amy's family home is so vast you need a car to get around the property. I was honestly overwhelmed the first time I visited.
In my house, it wasn't customary for the family to gather in the living room. Each room had its own living area, bathroom, and toilet, so there was no need to leave your room. My dad was busy and rarely came home. It wasn't unusual to go a whole day without seeing my mom. I was raised by the housekeeper.
Having money is definitely better, but having too much can disrupt one's life. Amy, being an only child with no siblings, also felt isolated because of that. In such a wealthy family, her classmates didn't approach her easily. Their parents would draw a line saying, "She lives in a different world." It's true they lived in different worlds, but Amy was just a girl like any other.
I longed for a family that spent time together, having dinner together, and living a simple life. That's why we built this house with just enough space for us. We couldn't have children after all.
Amy's voice trailed off. I've accepted that we can't have children, and I enjoy our life as a couple. But Amy still seems to struggle with it.
My dad was a major shareholder in many companies, but he suddenly passed away from an illness 10 years ago. When that happened, Ben, as his adopted son, inherited all the shares, along with a massive fortune.
What?
Lisa, listening to Amy's explanation, stood with her mouth agape, making a foolish sound. It was clear she couldn't follow the flow of the conversation.
Her father originally held nearly 40% of the shares in my company. Imagine what that means for a company of our size.
My dad loved investing in publicly traded companies as a hobby. He might have invested in this company just for fun. His influence probably helped me get into the company's professional team.
Amy said this with a hint of sadness, and I felt a complicated mix of emotions. With her father gone, there's no way to confirm this now, but the company should have records of its employees' family backgrounds. Some employees might have recognized Amy as the only daughter of the Taylor family. After my father-in-law passed away, I inherited most of his shares because I took over his company. My mother-in-law preferred cash and had no interest in stocks. Despite living in a large house, their marriage wasn't cold. When my father-in-law passed away, it was my mother-in-law who cried the most and was the most devastated. She later told me that my father-in-law had rescued her from a constrained life as a daughter of a wealthy family, giving her freedom and unconditional love. I originally held some shares in Amy's company. Now the shares I hold make up about. How much was it again?
40%. I hold just over 50%, so you have most of the remaining shares.
Ryan's words made Lisa's eyes widen.
No way.
Ben is incredibly important to our company. With such a large shareholding, he could easily abuse it. If he sold all his shares to a rival company, we'd be finished.
I would never do anything to harm my wife's company. Besides, our companies do a lot of business together. My father-in-law loved this company and held shares in it. Knowing this, I would never misuse the company's shares.
Ben is a major shareholder, but he has never used his power for personal gain. Amy's father had the same mindset. For Ben to request your transfer, do you understand the significance of that?
Ryan glared at Lisa as he spoke. Regarding the shares, I just felt like I happened to hold them. By chance, I ended up owning a substantial 40%, but I had no intention of doing anything with them. In an extreme case, if Ryan really wanted me to sell them to him, I might consider selling about half. I never thought that owning shares made me important, but for the first time, I'm grateful for my assets. Thanks to them, I was able to get rid of a nuisance.
A nuisance. Don't belittle me. I don't care about you being a major shareholder or whatever. But if you have so much money, you should have had a kid. A woman without children has no value. I gave birth to twins, after all.
Just giving birth, right? I interrupted Lisa as she was speaking. Honestly, I was tired of hearing her story. However, it was clear that Amy was hurt by it.
What did you say?
I'm saying you just gave birth. You didn't take care of your kids, had an affair, and got divorced. Your ex-husband got custody.
How do you know that?
Lisa's face turned red as she muttered. When I went to the office, the employees told me. Apparently, it's a well-known story. You had an affair right after giving birth and got hit with a huge alimony demand from your ex-husband. You haven't seen your kids since your divorce, have you? How dare you speak ill of Amy in such a situation?
That is.
Lisa looked away uncomfortably. Giving birth to twins is indeed remarkable. I understand how challenging childbirth is more than most men do. When Amy and I were undergoing fertility treatments, I learned a lot. I know about the hormonal imbalances during pregnancy, the dehydration from morning sickness. When I learned that childbirth could be fatal, I was truly terrified. That's why I deeply respect women who give birth, but Lisa's situation was different. Right after giving birth, she left her babies at home and stayed at her lover's place, and her ex-husband found the babies just in time as they were crying and in danger. Naturally, they immediately separated. When I heard this story, I was deeply disgusted by Lisa. Despite all our efforts, Amy and I couldn't have a baby, while Lisa.
Also, I've heard that although you came to the headquarters with a reputation for being excellent, you've been slacking off and not working at all. And you've been harassing Amy. The employees in her department adore her, and the male employees reported you immediately.
That can't be.
Ryan glanced at me looking a bit awkward. When I tilted my head, he cleared his throat and continued.
Amy is beautiful, kind-hearted, and dedicated to her work. She's also athletic, and there's even a fan club for her within the company.
Really? I was surprised by this. Sure, Amy is stunning, even in my eyes as her husband, and she has a straightforward personality, making her easy to get along with. In high school, I saw many boys and girls confess their feelings to her. I often felt she was too good for me, and I'm proud to have her as my wife. But I had no idea there was a fan club at her company.
That's why, when the employees saw Amy being mistreated, they immediately reported it and asked for Lisa's transfer. We decided to keep an eye on the situation, but there were so many reports, and some employees even submitted petitions, so her transfer was confirmed.
No way.
Lisa, unable to accept this reality, sank to her knees in tears.
Amy mentioned that her family background helped her get into this company, but I can assure you that's not true at all. The coach of our company's basketball team was so impressed with Amy's talent that he insisted on having her on the team. We only found out about her father after hiring her.
Is that so?
Amy said, looking surprised.
That's good to hear.
She murmured happily. She must have always wondered if he got the job through connections. However, with his father-in-law already passed away, there was no way to confirm it.
In any case, there's no issue with transferring Lisa. Ben wanted her at the garbage disposal unit, so we decided to transfer her to a branch where troublesome employees are sent. We could also fire her if Ben prefers. If Ben wishes, I can issue the termination notice right away.
Wait a minute. You can't be serious about firing me. Why are you listening to this guy?
Realizing she might actually be fired, Lisa started shouting in a panic. Ryan sighed as he looked at her.
For our company, Ben and Amy are far more important than you. Once you harassed Amy, you lost any rights here. You're probably just jealous because Amy is beautiful. She has a kind of beauty that both men and women admire.
Seeing Lisa grind her teeth in frustration, Ryan's words seemed to hit the mark. They say nothing is as ugly as jealousy among women. No need to fire her. Just ensure she can never interact with me or Amy again.
Understood. I promise.
Ryan nodded firmly. Lisa sat down, looking utterly defeated. She must have realized that she couldn't avoid being transferred to the rural branch.
I'll make sure Lisa doesn't come to the headquarters starting tomorrow. Let's go pack up your things now. You'll be transferred to the rural branch starting tomorrow.
Ryan forcibly pulled Lisa's arm as she cried. Lisa shook her head while crying, but Ryan pushed her into the taxi he had called.
Sorry for disturbing you so late. We appreciate your continued support of our company.
Finally, Ryan bowed deeply to us before getting into the taxi with Lisa. With that, the storm had passed, and peace returned to our home. From the next day, Lisa didn't come to the headquarters. Her desk was cleared out, and there was no trace of her. The branch Lisa was transferred to was even worse than we imagined. It's a place for employees who would normally be fired, so the salary is about 1/3 of a regular employee's. The employees there are unmotivated, and it's common for all of them to take unapproved absences. When regular employees are assigned there, they often end up quitting due to the mental strain. At the branch, there wasn't a single competent person to teach Lisa the job.
I'm surrounded by trash.
She reportedly screamed in frustration after just a week. Given the nature of the branch, this was to be expected, but Lisa couldn't endure it. She repeatedly asked the president for a transfer, but he firmly refused. The president kept insisting that if she didn't like the branch, she should resign, and eventually Lisa had a complete mental breakdown and stopped coming to work. After that, no one heard from her again. Rumor has it she still owed alimony from her divorce and couldn't pay it off. She tried to make the payments by gambling, hoping for a big win, but it didn't go well. Instead, Lisa became addicted to gambling and fell into a spiral of debt. In any case, it's no longer our concern. Amy and I are having dinner at her favorite upscale restaurant today.
My dad loved this place. He and my mom came here every year for their anniversary.
That's why this place is my favorite, Amy said, looking a bit sad. She knew she would never be able to come to this restaurant again with both of her parents.
By the way, how did you manage to get a reservation? This place is usually booked solid.
Oh, Ryan arranged it. He's invested a lot in this restaurant, so they make exceptions for him. He had also arranged our reservation for the party. Wanting to cheer up Amy, I had called Ryan and asked him to book the restaurant. The food was as exceptional as I remembered. As an apology for the recent events, he arranged this reservation and covered all the costs.
Really?
Hearing that, Amy grinned and opened the alcohol menu. Amy is quite the drinker. She was probably planning to order the most expensive champagne in the place.
Once in a while is okay, right?
Yeah, I'll join you all the way. This childlike smile is one of the many things I love about Amy. I want to continue walking through life happily with her, supporting each other as a couple.